education between the ages of 3 and 4, when their behaviour at 10 is perhaps is affected a little bit. We've found that when mothers go out to work, it's always been thought most mothers should stay at home and look after their children. Now the standard of care that we've found, of substitute care in nurseries, is so good now that the children are doing better and the mothers are happier, going out to work, all other things.
Which is very good news for working mothers.
Very good news for working mothers.
What about diet? What about health?
Well, at 10, of course, we asked them a lot of questions. We found really it was chips with everything. We found the lowest income families were the ones that gave their children the largest amount of sweets, chocolate, ice cream, and fizzy drinks. Now we want to see what's happening.
And that I'm sure is regional too, isn't it?
That is regional, more in the north actually than the south.
Always the case, I think, there. Paula, can I ask you at the back, have you been brought up on chips and fizzy drinks and that sort of diet? You have?
Yes.
Both of you?
Yes.
You haven't, not one you've done without the other. I mean, have you actually thought of cutting it down, cutting it out?
No.
They haven't. You're happy with chips and Coke and goodness knows what.
Yeah.
Alan, are you a fizzy drinks? Are you a Coke and chips man?
No.
No?
No.
What would you choose in preference? To say a bottle of Coke?
Tea.
Tea? You like a cup of tea?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite reassuring to find. What about Sarah in the middle? Sarah, not Sarah, Sarah. Yeah? You live in a pub, don't you?
Yeah.
Aye, well, you better tell me what you drink.
Lemonade, mostly.
Lemonade?
Yeah.
But sweet. It's fairly sweet lemonade, isn't it?
Mm.
And Steve at the front, are you a chips and fizzy drinks man?
Well, chips, but not so much fizzy drinks.
Interesting. Now, can I ask you very quickly, Professor, what about disabilities? Because you mentioned very briefly before the programme.
Well,
Think
this is
about
very
disabilities.
interesting, very important. We asked the mother, the young people themselves, the teachers, the doctors, the health visitor, and the records. And we found 3 times as many disabilities as other people had suspected. When we added in the school disabilities, about 20%, 1 in 5, of all British children need some help. They really need help in encouraging the things they can do, as well as the things they can't. So we're looking at their life skills.
I'm going to have to thank you there, but I'm also going to have to say that you are trying to get in touch with all those Granada area children from 15 years ago, and you want them to write to you at Bristol University.
Yes,
to you by name.
Yes, I would like them to write to Professor Neville Butler, University of Bristol, Bristol, on a postcard to let me know their name, their date of birth, their present address.
You want to know where they are now, of course.
Where they are now, and their date of birth, a present address, and also I want them to write the names of the 3 celebrities they would like to meet the most.
Because you're going to try and do something special. Professor, thank you very much. Children, young people, I should say, thank you very much. Have happy birthdays in the next week. Tony.
With Bob's names on it, doesn't matter. Now, despite the awful weather we've been having today, you may be pleased to know that Robert Greaves, without even a hat, has been braving the elements to tell you all about a little surprise.
Granada Reports is launching a brand new spring series called Bees in the Garden. Why? Because expert Roy Bee here will come and visit your garden at your request and help to solve all those niggling horticultural problems. Whether your garden's in the town, the city, the seaside, the village, even 2 stone tubs in the back garden. Roy, not everybody has a pond, I know, but this one looks to me like a bit of a mess.
I think it's a refurbishing job.
Start from scratch?
Yes, start from scratch. The plants are too vigorous, really, that's in there. And these stones are a real problem because you get a lot of pernicious weeds in and they're very difficult to get rid of.
It looks overgrown in both inside and out, doesn't it?
That's right, yeah.
So those bulrushes cut down and maybe more things put in?
Well, I wonder if they're not too dominant for a pond of this size. They need to be in a much larger area, really.
Right. Well, Roy, there's a taster of what it's about. If you've got gardening problems, and who hasn't, send your letters, please, to Bees in the Garden, Granada Reports, Granada Television, Manchester M69EA, and we hope to start next week. Make a beeline. Make a beeline, did I say that? Well, that was a very nice garden in Winslow in Cheshire, and you can find some pretty strange things at the bottom of some people's gardens, even stranger than that pond. Take, for instance, the home of Malcolm Wrigglesworth in Bury. Not for him the normal herbaceous border, not even a rockery. Instead, there are big things afoot in the flower beds. We sent Mark Gorton out to investigate his monstrous problem.
When Malcolm Wrigglesworth became unemployed 12 months ago, he found himself with time on his hands. But then, thanks to his son Simon, he found a project which turned into something of an obsession. To kill time, he began work on a monster from prehistoric times. In other words, a 16-foot-long plant-eating stegosaurus. When other people clean their cars, Malcolm and his family run a cloth over their dinosaur. And it's clear that Fred, as the stegosaurus is known, is a talking point for the neighbours. Usually in my line of work, rain like today's is a blessed nuisance, but today it all helps add to that atmosphere of a prehistoric tropical rainforest. Now, Malcolm, did you not think about getting a gnome like everybody else?
Well, I did, but I thought a monster would be something different.
How did you go about making it?
Well, I built it on a frame and then just made it with newspaper, all pasted together.
Does the rain have any effect on it? Because it's got to bear up, hasn't it?
Not really, no. It's had 6 coats of paint, so it stands up to it very well.
The inspiration behind Malcolm's dinosaur, which took 8 months to make from papier-mâché, was his 11-year-old son Simon. He's monster mad.
He died when the Ice Age came, then started to die out, then that's how we find the bones. They're buried under the ground.
Are you sorry they all died out?
Yeah,
Why?
just like to have them for a pet. Pity they couldn't fit in the house though.
Well, Bob Greaves has been in a garden today. That makes 2 horrible-looking monsters in 2 gardens in 1 programme. Is that a record?
Terribly personal, Mark, terribly personal. That's almost the end of the programme. The main ITN headline tonight is that 2 people have been killed in Northern Ireland. An IRA car bomb exploded and killed a policeman and a security guard. It was happened outside the courthouse in Newry. Also, the work to rule by customs men for this Easter weekend seems to be going ahead. There could be long queues of people going away for the holidays. Are you going away for the holidays, Bob?
No, never go away at this sort of time. Now, here in the northwest, thank you, Tony, we all know how good we are at going south and picking up prizes. Well, we've done it again. It wasn't Mark Gorton. The Bolton Youth Orchestra are just back from the first ever National Concert Band Festival at Wembley, clutching a fistful of glittering prizes, including they walked off with the TV Times trophy, as well as the chance to work and perform a special new piece. They're with us tonight. Here they are with part of the piece by Guy Wolfenden. It's called Gallimorphry. What I'm saying is called Good Night.
Good night.
Good night.
One little old safe? This ain't no little old safe. This is a Brooker 202.
There's one thing we gotta get, Hayes. What's that? Out of this business.
Searching for the straight and narrow, Hannibal Hayes and Kid Curry, Alias, Smith and Jones, Saturday at 5 past 5.
Over on Channel 4 in 5 minutes, there's in-depth analysis of the day's events in the Channel 4 news. Here on Granada after the break, a new series from scientist and writer Arthur C. Clarke.
You know, it's only when you're here at Alton Towers, Europe's largest leisure park, that you realise how different it is. A world of fun, fantasy and excitement in one of the most beautiful settings in England. You can stroll through breathtaking beauty to one of Alton's 4 separate centres, each with its own superb range of rides and shows. At Alton Towers, you'll find something for everyone.
If it's excitement you want, like the corkscrew, try the Black Hole, our sensational space ride in total darkness.
If you don't fancy too much excitement, there are gentle rides the whole family can enjoy. And for the little ones, it's a day out of this world. There's no doubt about it, Alton Towers is a special magic for everyone.
More than 70 rides and shows, plus the gardens, all for the one price, $4.99.
Now that's what I call value. So come along to Alton Towers. It's a lot nearer than Disneyland, wherever you are. It's nearer than you think.
Ariston designs are designed to wash and clean and tumble dry beautifully. Wash Ariston. Ariston designs provide for economy, engineered for efficiency brilliantly. Wash Ariston. Ariston designs washing machines and washer dryers look beautiful and work beautifully. Wash Ariston.
Looks beautiful, works beautifully. Ariston.
Your account. Overdraft bank policy, unfortunately. Good after bad. Economic climate, gloomy inland revenue. On the other hand, we've got pots of money, lots of the stuff. We're loaded. Have some, have lots. We don't need it, you do. Frankly, my dear chap, you'll be doing us a favour.
Unbelievably creamy toffees from Callard and Bowser. Sweet dreams.
Tonight, in There Comes a Time, Tony encounters a heavenly body.
Are you all right? You look as though you've seen a monster or something. I have seen, I mean, an angel's got a fixture.
If after all I've been through, you recover, I'll never forgive you.
There Comes a Time, tonight at 8:30 on ITV.
This is Granada. Well, now with warnings from the future, we enter Arthur C. Clarke's world of strange powers.
Flixborough, 1974. The nitrochemical plant explodes. This woman described the disaster 5 hours before it happened. Chicago, 1979, the crash of American Airlines Flight 191. David Booth claims he foresaw every detail in his dreams. Can some people really see into the future? April 1912, the Titanic tragedy was also predicted. What can explain such knowledge of things to come? Mysteries from the files of Arthur C. Clarke, scientist, writer and visionary. The scientist who invented the communication satellite, the writer of 2010, and now in retreat in Sri Lanka, the visionary who ponders the riddles of this and other worlds.
I've never had a premonition, and I rather hope I never do. But they're quite common, and a very good example occurred to a good friend of mine many years ago here in Sri Lanka. He was in charge of a brickworks here in the jungle, and one day when he was leaving for his office, the foreman came up to him and said, "Please, master, drive carefully. Something bad is going to happen." So my friend drove carefully, and nothing bad happened. However, when he got to his office, there was a message, "Please return at once." When he got back to the work site, he found that the foreman, the man who just warned him, was dead, killed in a freak accident. They'd been blasting at a quarry almost a mile away. A stone had been hurled this unprecedented distance, passed through a small gap in the roof, hit the man on the head, and killed him instantly. So he had seen an omen. What he had not seen was that it forecast his own death. Such cases are quite common and very puzzling. But do they really foretell the future?
Chicago, May the 25th, 1979. Minutes after the crash of an American Airlines DC-10. 273 passengers are dead. The disaster shocked America. Yet 10 days earlier in Cincinnati, David Booth had foreseen it in a dream.
I looked up in the sky and there's an American Airlines jet. I don't know what kind it was. I didn't know planes that well. And the first thing that struck me about it, you know, where I was and looking at it, was that it wasn't making the sound that it should. You know, for being so close to me, it should be louder than it was. But it was flying like this, and then all of a sudden, it goes like this. Turns over on its back, and then goes straight down on the ground.